Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.
Good day, my wonderful learners. Trust you are doing well today. You are welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. My name is Oyedon Emmanuel Shion, and I will be taking you history. And I'm sure that after today's class, you will learn something tangible. Today, we will be looking at a controversial topic, which is the Benin Kingdom in pre-colonial Nigeria. Benin Kingdom in pre-colonial Nigeria. At the end of today's class, students will, 1, trace the origin of Benin Kingdom. 2, students will describe the factors that led to the formation of Benin Kingdom. 3, students will explain the socio-political organization of the Benin Kingdom. Students will also explain the achievements of Ewuare I, the Great. Then lastly, students will analyze the factors responsible for the decline, fall, and collapse of the Benin Kingdom. The origin of Benin Kingdom in pre-colonial Nigeria. We want to look at the origin of Benin Kingdom before the arrival of the European colonizers. The Benin Kingdom is one of the oldest and the most sophisticated kingdoms in West Africa. It has a rich history that dated back to around 900 to 1300 AD. According to oral tradition, the kingdom was initially ruled by a series of semi-kings, semi-mythical kings, known as the Ogiso, which means kings of the sky. The Ogiso dynasty is said to have begun around the 10th century AD, with the first ruler known as Ogiso Igodo. The Ogiso period was marked with establishment of a centralized state and the beginning of urbanization of the kingdom. However, the Ogiso era came to an end, and the end can be linked to the arrival of Oromiyan from Yoruba city, which is also a prince from the Yoruba city. According to legend, after the arrival of Oromiyan, he was being called because before the arrival, there were lots of instability following the reign of the last Ogiso. The people of Benin had to invite Oromio in order to stabilize the kingdom. Then he eventually became the father. He married in the Benin kingdom and had a son, which eventually became the first Oba of Benin, who was known as Eko I. And that marked the beginning of Oba dynasty, which replaced the Ogiso dynasty. And the Oba dynasty is what we still have up till present day. Factors responsible for the formation of Benin Kingdom. Number one, strategic location. Benin Kingdom was situated or is situated in a fertile region with access to important rivers and Atlantic coasts. This strategic location of the kingdom facilitated trade, agriculture, the movement of people, which was essential towards the growth and development of the kingdom. 2. Natural resources. The kingdom was blessed with some natural resources such as timber, palm oil, materials like ivory, metal, oil, and others. These resources not only supported the local economy, but it attracted foreign traders. And this eventually led to the formation and the growth of the kingdom. Then also, the Ogiso dynasty is also an important factor that led towards the development. The early formation of the Ogiso dynasty, it led to a lot of a well and proper centralized leadership. Then also, the Ogiso dynasty brought about significant foundation for the kingdom. Also, military strength. Benin Kingdom is known for a well-established military power, which comprises of their organized army, who was able to defend the territory of the kingdom against internal and external conquest. Also, cultural and artistic innovation. It is worthy to note that the Benin Kingdom has several artistic innovation and cultural as well. So it has a lot of metal works, bronze casting, which brought about source of revenue, source of royal authority, and economic power for the kingdom. Also, trade network. The location of the kingdom is connected along trade routes. Trade route that connects the interior of West Africa with the Atlantic coast. It also facilitated growth and a robust economic system. Going forward, socio-political organization of the Benin Kingdom. 1. The Oba. The Oba is known as the king. At the top of the social political hierarchy, we have the king, who is considered as the divine ruler, which believed to be the descendant of the gods. Also, the divine status gave the Oba immense power, ultimate power, and authority over all aspects of the kingdom. The Oba wielded absolute power, controlling political, religious, and military matters. The words of the Oba is usually the law and final because he is supreme and is also a supreme judge in all cases. 2. The Uzama. The Uzama were a group of high-ranking chiefs who held significant power within the kingdom. Originally, they were kingmakers and had the authority to choose the Oba. But over time, their role changed from being a kingmaker to an advisor to the king. The Uzama includes several key titles such as Iyase, which is Prime Minister, Izoma, which is Military Commander, and Ulia, which is the Chief Priest. Also, provisional administrators. The Benin Kingdom was divided into provinces, each governed by an Enogi, which is known as a governor, appointed by the Oba. These provincial governors were usually members of the royal family and trusted nobles within the kingdom. They are responsible for maintaining the Oba's authority in their respective region. In other words, they are like a representative of the Oba in their different regions and provinces. Then also, at the village level, we have the local administration, which was overseen by village heads known as Odionwe. They were often the oldest men in the village, and they played key roles towards local governance, which has to do with resolving conflicts, disputes, and managing communal resources. Also, military organization. I said it earlier that the Benin Kingdom was equipped with a well-organized military strength. They maintained a well-organized and disciplined army, which was crucial for their defense and territorial expansion. The commander-in-chief of the army was known as the Izoma, who led the military forces. Economy of Benin Kingdom. Number one, agriculture. I said it earlier that Benin Kingdom was blessed with fertile land. So this helped towards the cultivation of various crops such as yam, maize, beans, kola nuts, palm oil in particular. So this helps towards the economy. Also, livestock farming such as goats, rearing of goats, sheep, and the like. Trade and commerce. Local markets in Benin City and other towns were hub of commercial activities where goods are bought, like food, crafts, textile were exchanged. Also, craftsmanship and industry. Benin Kingdom was renowned for its high-skilled artisans who were organized and ensured that they produced wide range of goods. So, which one of the famous is the Benin bronzes, ivory carving, and the likes. Then also, one of the economy that boosted the Benin Kingdom was slave trade. Slavery was an integral part of the Benin Kingdom economy. Slaves were used in agriculture, also as household servants, and also in the military. The Benin Kingdom engaged in slave trade, which also served as a source of revenue for its economy. Factors responsible for the fall and collapse of Benin Kingdom. Number one is weak leadership. As time goes on, the leadership became weak. If you recall, when we were discussing about the origin, we said instability led to the end of the last Ogiso. So it got to a point whereby the leadership became weak. Also, succession disputes. There were disputes within the royal family on who should succeed the late Oba. Also, the British punitive expedition in February 1897. Yes, the British came into Benin Kingdom in February 1897, and there was expedition. Also, abolition of slave trade. When slave trade was abolished and officially declared illegal, it led to affecting the economic status of Benin Kingdom, because slave trade was one of the major sources of revenue. Also, colonial exploitation. When the colonial masters came into the region now known as Nigeria and they got to the Benin Kingdom, they exploited the kingdom and carted away with lots of their essentials. Also, corruption and inefficiency. Corruption and inefficiency was really rooted in some of the administrative structures of the social political organization. Then decline of the economy got to a point whereby the economy had to collapse. So all these major factors led to the decline and fall of Benin Empire. So it is worthy to also note that Ewuare the Great brought about lots of achievements. Number one, centralization of power. The Oba significantly strengthened the central authority of the monarch, consolidating power in the hands of the Oba and reducing the influence of powerful chiefs and local rulers. Ewuare the Great ensured that power is being centralized under one single central authority, which was known and being given to the Oba. 2. Promotion of art. The Oba was great patron to art and craft and was credited to the laying of foundation of the flourishing Benin artistic tradition, particularly bronze casting. 3. Transformation of Benin City. Ewuare was known to have transformed the Benin Kingdom into a great city. Also, abolition of slave trade. Oba Ewuare the Great was part of the key abolitionists when Nigeria is being called upon. The Oba ensured that there were quick abolition of slave trade in the Benin Kingdom when or after it was declared illegal. Then also fortification of Benin City. The Oba is credited with initiating the construction of the massive walls. Yes, it is important to also know that one of the factors that also helped the Benin Kingdom to make it great was the construction of the Benin Walls, which was known as the Great Walls of Benin, which was constructed by the Oba. This fortification was among the most impressive in Africa at that time, and it provided great defense for external invaders who want to wage war against the Benin Kingdom. Now, practice question. Highlight any 5 factors that contributed to the decline of Benin Kingdom in 19th century. It was a question of WAEC in the year 2017. And the answer to the question: 1. Ascension of weak leaders. Like we said earlier, it got to a point whereby some leaders that are weak ascended into the throne as the Oba. 2. Loss of revenue due to the abolition of slave trade. I also said it earlier that the slave trade was one of the important and key source of revenue for the kingdom. So when it was abolished, it brought about loss of one of the key source of revenue. 3. Revolt from vassal states. Yes, there are some vassal states, some lesser and smaller kingdom who pays some money in form of tribute to the Benin kingdom. So it got to a time whereby those lesser states and kingdoms began to revolt against the Benin kingdom. 4. Tribute from vassal state decline. Yes, they stopped paying tribute to the kingdom. Then 5. British interference. When the colonial period came to stay, when the British interfered, it led to the decline and the fall of Benin kingdom. Here is the end of today's class.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
I hope you have learned something today. If yes, kindly comment in under the social media platform displayed on the screen. Tell us what you have learned today. If you have any suggestion, observation, or feedback, kindly reach us through the comment section. Thank you for watching.